Pike's pushed more and far enough ahead. He's got out of line. Is now Pike going to have a go at Werrell? Don't push him off. He's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin. Further down, Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly. Miller's still such up. He's touched on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Does he have it? Medeiros is going to get it. He's on the outside line though, going into the fastest corner on the circuit. Surely this can't work.
Dominic Ligner has got a sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly. Miller's still such up. He's touched on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Can Barry do it? Big Barry's going to do it. Big Barry! Good evening and welcome back to Friday night's SRL GR86 League Live from Lime Rock. It is the fun race this evening. It's just a bit of fun for everybody to go out in the car here this evening, and what a race it's going to be. Don't forget, it was Jack Johns who took the win in the championship last season. Jack Johns winning there in the championship last season, the event itself. So there's all the details you need if you want to get yourselves involved. Down in the YouTube description below, there is the links to the Discord there as well. So 2 times 20-minute heat races, reverse top 15 for the feature race, with a 10-minute qualifying here all as well. Trophies for the class winners, Pro and Am drivers, and it kicks off at 9:30 is the qualifying here this evening. Joining me in the booth is myself and Daan Pepels will be here once more, back again for what plans to be another epic season of some fantastic, great racing here live on the SRL and the JPB YouTube channel. So give the video a big old thumbs up, because that will be absolutely amazing if you can. And you can come and get yourselves involved and do some epic GR86 action. The calendar itself, well, Lion Rock will provide with the fun race. Then it will go off to Laguna Seca next week for the media day. Round 1 will be the 30th of June at Zolder. Round 2 will be the 14th of July at the Red Bull Ring. Round 3 will be 28th of July at Road Atlanta. Round 4, 11th of August at Rudskogan. Round 5 will be Long Beach. Oh, ouch. And then round 6 will be Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course as well. That's going to be a tough one for these drivers. Welcome in, Phil, across the pond. I hope you are having a wonderful evening here this evening. Thank you so much for joining us as well. And James Launchberry Rainey. Wow. That's an epic race there. An epic name. Star 17 Gaming, of course. VJ, thank you so much for joining us as well. It should be an epic evening of action. You've heard me ramble on enough. Let's bring Dan into the booth. Dan, good evening. How are you?
Good afternoon, everyone, and good evening, afternoon, whatever you want to call it, James. It's great to be back for the GR86, the SRL GR86. I'm looking forward, though, to that one that you said to Long Beach. Those tight and twisty streets of Long Beach can be very difficult, and can be, especially with the second to last round of the championship, throw everything on its head. So yeah, looking forward to that one on the 25th of August, Long Beach. Already looking forward to that. But we've got to start it off with the fun race here this evening. And what a track we've got it on. Favorite corner on this track, James?
On this track?
Yes.
Oh. Probably the West Bend chicane if I had to, but I do like the diving turn, the final corner here this evening as well. Partly due to the fact that you can keep your foot in, you can keep it lined up, you can just bounce the curb on the inside if you're really brave there, as Callum Milam is not. He gave the last corner a big old gap there as well. But probably that one, I think, the long right-hander down into turn 1, very, very tricky. I'm not entirely sure if people are going to like it in these cars. We know how loose the GR86 can get, so it's going to be an interesting one to see how many people do decide that they're going to spin the car up there. I think there's going to be an interesting one for many drivers.
Now, Jack Johns is on it again here in practice. He's leading the way ahead of Harder Turtle, who was at the end of the last championship, very much up there all the time at the top. So he is someone that I will think this season at least will challenge for that title. Of course, keep an eye on Dan Moll too, because he's very quick. I think in the GT4s in the JPB League, GT4s, just quick in everything he drives, so keep an eye on him too. He's at the moment 2/10 off, but yeah, we've got some great prospects here in this league.
Yeah, definitely have here as well. And obviously the track itself, 1.53 miles, 2.46 kilometers, 7 turns here as well. Now, the interesting thing is I was trying to find the exact lap record for this specific course. Now, in Lion Rock itself, basically there are a few configurations you can have. You can have the Morton chicane in or out, you can have the West Bend chicane in or out, or you could just have the straightforward course that's got basically the both chicanes, one at the bottom of the hill, one at the top of the hill as well. Now, the original Grand Prix circuit itself was invented in 1957. Now, the original race lap record on the Grand Prix circuit was set by a young gentleman named Juan Manuel Fangio II in the Eagle Mark II in 1993 in the IMSA GTP, and he set a track record of 45.1 seconds. Unbelievable.
I mean, one of the quicker tracks and one of the shorter tracks we will go to this season. A lot of quick corners, even turn 1, Big Bend, even that corner is a very quick one. It's kind of a double apex corner. You apex it on the first right-hander, then you take another apex at the second kind of right-hander, because you do split that corner up into 2 pieces, don't you?
Well, yeah, it depends on what way you want to go about it. I think that's the difference here as well. You know, traditionally, with the corner itself through the big bend, you can go in and you can run in quite wide and pull the second apex, which is great if you can manage it and somebody isn't trying to commit Harry carry down the inside of you, because there's always somebody who wants to go and have a big old dive into big bend. It's because they're like, oh, the door's open. It's like a burglar who wants to rob your house and then forgets anybody's actually living in it when you leave the door wide open. You know, you could go in on that corner and do a lot with that corner, and I think that's going to be the interesting thing here as well, is how these guys cope with it. You know, traditionally the Grand Prix circuit has the chicane at the bottom. The Morton chicane is at the bottom, and then it's a straight run through West Bend. Obviously we're using the other configuration where the West Bend is at the top of the hill and it's a straight run from uphill onwards. But you've got to look at, if you're going to really get a gauge of what they're going to do, I'd probably pay attention to what Arthur Fertel does going down into turn 1 now. You know, we've got 5 minutes left to practice here as well before we go into quali. He's going to go in, he's another one, goes in early and tries to keep it to the inside. Now naturally that's a line I would take, but you can see Jack Johns and Callum Milan took different lines there as well. Callum Johns went in and run it a little bit wide. The same with this corner. There's so many different lines. You can go to the right and bring it in, or you can HUD the inside. But I HUD the inside. I do basically the same as what Arthur's doing, and it gives you a great slingshot out the second part of that corner itself.
I mean, the question that springs into my mind is, why are you not as quick as Arthur Fertel then, if you're doing exactly the same as him?
Probably because there's about a 4KI rating between the both of us. He drives every single week, and I'm barely lucky to drive once a month, if once a year. So, you know, there you go. That's probably why there's such a difference between the two of us. Is Arthur drives
valid reason.
Yeah, I think that's valid enough. He drives, you know, like 3 or 4 leagues a week. I drive like 3 or 4 races a year if I'm lucky. So, you know, but I love Line Rock itself. This Summit Point and Tsukubu, believe it or not, are my favourite circuits, along with obviously Interlagos, which I just love dearly. But the way that these tracks, you can gain, touch Jack Johns had something to do with that.
Yeah, and that was, I think, a bit of a revenge of what happened in the chicane before.
Yeah,
there we go.
Jack Johns sent it in well deep there, and unfortunately for Arthur Fertel, he took a plummet off the side. But I think that's the thing with this as well. It depends on how you are as a racer. Some people will naturally, you know, do things differently. It's always the same. Whenever you look at a lap time, you always sit back and go, well, I'm doing the same as that guy. Why am I so slow? But it's entry speed, it's exit speed. You might be in the same gear, but you're in a completely different realm of what you're doing in the car. So it's completely different. Like Nords, I've looked at some of the, no mate, you don't want to go there. I've looked at Nords, and basically I do the same as some of the top drivers in exactly the same gear around exactly the same part of the circuit, but yet they're 4 or 5, 6, 7 seconds, 8 seconds quicker than me. And I think Jack Johns and Arthur Fertel are having a racquetball technically. Yeah. They're trying to take each other off, which is quite interesting.
They're having some fun.
Yeah, they definitely are. But there we go. But I think that's the thing. You can sit back and look at a lap and go, yeah, I'm just as fast. But clearly, am I? Am I really? No, probably not.
I mean, the timer never lies. You know, the stopwatch never lies, and you can do the same. You can virtually do the same as he does. But it's, when you look at the data, like going on power a little bit earlier there, braking a little bit later there, maybe a little bit earlier, and being able to go on the power a little bit earlier at some corners, it's all of that. When you look at the data, that it becomes clear where and why you're slower than the guy. That's why I think, you know, data is so important also to look at. If you do, don't overlook it, because it's easy to do that too. There's so much stuff to look into, but that's where you really see why and where you're slower than the other guy. Because from a visible point of view, like you just said, it sometimes can look like you're doing exactly the same, but the lap times can be a second, maybe a second and a half apart.
And if you're at Nords, for me, you could be like 9 seconds apart. You know what I mean? It's horrendous. But and I think that's the thing. Some people will take data and they'll analyse it and they'll constantly look at it and they'll go, well, I've got to pick up here. I've got to do this. I've got to do that. Me, I just go out and think, okay, so Arthur's on a 1 minute. I'm doing 1:02. Where am I losing it? And I'll look at his data compared to my lap and go, okay, so it's here. I might need to do this. And then I'll go out, and that's it. That's about as much as looking at the data I would do. I won't over-examine it, like some people who sit back and they're there for hours, and they, you know, God, that would just drive me crazy. It's almost about, I find it almost as exciting as watching paint dry, constantly reading it there. But you know, everybody's different. Everybody's different, and I think that's the thing with racing itself. You can have the same gear, the same, you know, think you're doing exactly the same thing, but then you look at it and you're 4 or 5 seconds off because he's braking a little bit earlier, and it could be just a meter. There's nothing really that could make a massive difference.
I think a meter is very generous. It could sometimes just be 20, 30 centimeters that someone is braking later, but with these cars acting so differently to whatever you do, and maybe it's shifting down because in the Mazdas, which I'm currently trying to learn, you use the gears to turn the car around, and so much you do almost exactly the same here in these GR86s. You use the gears to kind of turn the car into the corner. So shifting at a certain point can also make the car understeer or oversteer a bit more. In the end, James, I think we can rumble on about this for at least 2-3 hours, because there's just so much that you have to think about when you do go into a corner, and if you do want to be quick, there's so much you have to think about. In the end, though, it's all about the fun. And for me, looking at the data for 3 hours, then going back out on track and still being a second off, takes the fun out of it.
Yeah, I just go on to the race and see what happened. And if I win, I win. If I don't, I don't. As long as at the end of the day I've kept it on track. That's the only thing that mainly is a concern for most people, is keeping it on track. And that's the thing. You're only in with a chance of winning if you're on the circuit. If you're not in the circuit, as we go into the 10-minute qualifying guys here as well, 3 low laps they will have here as well at this very short circuit. So I'm expecting quali to be basically over by about 4 minutes if they all go out at the beginning. And that's the thing. I think a lot of the times people overanalyze everything, and at the end of the day, if you're not on that great stuff in the middle of this race circuit, you're not going to win. It's just not possible. And at the end of the day, going off the side is not good either. And I think that's the thing that people have to look at. And that's why I think when we talk about leagues, and obviously JPB running the Clio and the GT4, you know, we've said to drivers, before you go and start ranting about something, have a look at it and see if you can do anything different to avoid it. If you've gotten stinkingly hot from about 20 yards, you've dived somebody from so far back, you might as well jump on an aeroplane to try and get past him, you know, and you hit him, don't blame him for not really leaving room, because that's your fault for trying to get past him. And I think that's the thing with racing, too many things, and that's probably why I don't really bother with iRacing, you know, with officials and stuff, because from us who sit and watch hundreds of races, you know, before the end of this month, I would have watched well over 100 races of competition. Well, I'm saying that some have got 3 races in per night or 4 per night, so it's probably more than that. But for us, we can see where the error is. We can sit back and go, you shouldn't have done that. You shouldn't have done that. And, you know, I'm one of them critics that don't have a filter and will call it if a driver messes up. But for drivers, they don't have that. They see it as it's always somebody else, and very rarely, you know, you might see the odd top driver come out and go, bro, that was my fault, I missed my braking point, you know, fair play. Okay. But most people,
but then again, that won't come at the moment itself. Sometimes, yes, it's just blatantly obvious that you've made a mistake, but sometimes, like in the heat of the moment, and even I do it, because here I can clearly say, because you've got an outside perspective of maybe it was his fault as Brown goes into a provisional pole on a 0.03 that immediately gets beaten by Dudley on a 109, on a 101.9, excuse me. But in the heat of the moment, you know, you sometimes say stuff that either you regret afterwards, or you think, why did I even think that was the other guy's fault? Because it's so blatantly obvious it's my fault. But you sometimes need to look at it in the replay, because in the heat of the moment, from inside the cockpit, it can feel completely different. And that's why it's always good, before you say something about whatever that happened, you kind of see it in a replay. And you kind of see all the angles, so you can kind of see what went wrong and if it was actually the other guy's fault. Yeah,
and I think that's the thing. That's probably why I go, if I ever do race in officials, which, mind you, if I look back at my results, my last actual official race was very, very long. No, actually, I don't even have an official race, in fact. It's showing up all the hosted races that I've gone and done instead. So I haven't actually had an official race, well, at least since the beginning of this year, and I think, you know, even if I did do officials, I just turn voice chat off, because I just sit back and think, you know, what will be, will be. I'm not in it to try and gain 100 on IR. You know, my I rating is so poor that in road I'm like 1,300. But I'm not one to factuate about that. You know, I'll sit back and go, meh, whatever. You know, I'm not fast, I don't race. It doesn't bother me. And if there's a track and car combination like an MX-5 at Tsukuba, then I might get in and think, oh, I like this, you know, because before I could go around Tsukuba in a 101. So I'm always like, oh, yeah, I could do that. And I think one week when I did actually run it in an official, I gained like 500 IR out of that one series because I just love Tsukuba and the MX-5.
Oh, look at that. Goodness me.
Jack Johns pushing the barriers there. Fertel's currently on pole on a 1:09.60. You know, and that's it. I just turn voice chat off and just decide what will be, will be. So welcome in, Milky. Hope you're well. Thanks so much for joining us as well. Star 17 Gaming there. Looking good, Milky, he says. So there we go. As you can see, we've got 18 cars on track. Patrick Thompson hasn't got a time currently at the moment and will not have a time, partly due to that incident as well. Callum Milan, oh, another one. That jump is horrendous for some people in these cars. As Arthur Fertel just goes across the line and goes on a 1:09.92. No real improvements from Arthur there as well. We're going to have about 3.5 minutes left of quali, guys, because these guys are completing their laps quite quickly. It's interesting to see Mr. Daniel Sedgley in this series as well.
Oh.
In the no, Mikey. That was not right, Mikey Carr. So Dan Sedgley as well, Andrew Lovesey. John Bailiff has completed all his laps. The only one who hasn't completed their laps is Patrick Thompson here as well, so we can keep an eye on him. Everybody else has pretty much done the 3 laps and the 10 minutes there as well. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. I think at the end of the day, you'll see a lot of different things here tonight. You'll see a lot of different driver techniques, driver lines. Arthur Fertel, Jack Johns, Dan Mould, Dan Wareham are very quick. Then you've got Chris Barnes, Sedgley, McCain, Lovesey, Bailiff and Lewis. They'll probably do things with Dudley, Gibbons, Brown, Dengle, Rayner, Crowther, Milam and Thompson probably won't do. So there'll be a lot of different things happening here tonight. We just hope that all 18 cars can survive.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. You kind of, especially at a track like this, where you know there's no real runoff area. The only thing that you've got is the green grass on the outside of the track. It's either, and I think Callum might have found it there. Oh, never mind, it's Patrick Thompson that we're looking at. Yeah. He found it there. That green stuff on the outside of the track, that's grass. I mean, no, grass in iRacing, once you get onto it, very hard to try and either stop the car or get off of it. So you don't want to get onto that, and the margins, like there's no real room for error here. And when you do go off, you're in the grass, and very short after that, the wall will follow.
Yeah, it definitely will as well. You just can't do it here as well. It doesn't, you know, some points on that grass, it's just, you might as well sit in a Disney film and watch Bambi on ice, because that's how you're going to be by the time you end up going down there, slipping and sliding all over the place and try and control something that's never going to stop. The interesting thing about that is the fact that they're bringing out a new graphics model coming out apparently at the end of this season as well, where they're going to make things look realistic, because obviously I'm pretty sure Lime Rock just doesn't look like AstroTurf all the way round. I'm sure there's bushes and whatever else in there, so hopefully we might see that. The interesting thing about that is they have currently also come out and said it's only going to be applied to new tracks that they're releasing, which for us on some of the old favourites like Red Bull is a beautiful looking track but could do with a bit of a facelift with graphics, obviously is not going to get it. They have said they will work through the list, but it's probably underneath a long list that begins with rain at the top or something like that. And we know how
Won't get me started on that, please, James.
We know how long that list that one thing has taken. So yeah, I wouldn't pray that it's going to be graphicked up. But at the end of the day, I think that's the thing. You know, iRacing does what iRacing does, and that's why we all drive it. Thompson's just gone into a 101.448, sorry, in 5th place. I think that's the thing. You know, at the end of the day, we all come back for more because obviously the realism of the simulator, but it's got its problems. Don't get me wrong. If you play any game or drive any sim, they've all got an issue that you'd love to be able to deal with, but you probably find you might be only one of 100 people or 100 people out the full player base that's probably got the same issue. And that's the thing, I think, as well. They've got to, you've got to look at the pros and cons of what you're doing. Don't get me wrong, the simulator is, amazing. It's realistic. It does it to a certain degree. Do we all agree with what they've done? Probably at some point, certainly not. And I think that's the thing. Everybody has an opinion, and it's the same thing whenever they post new content or wherever they post anything else. Instantly, people jump on the bandwagon and go, well, you're giving us something else, but yet we only want rain. And there's just no, there's no, I suppose from that point of view, there's no pleasing some people, but at the same time, rain's been talked about forever, and
it's done their own head in. I think
it's still missing.
Like a month and a half ago, there was a Twitter release with literally a picture of a track. I mean, wet as anything, and there still isn't any rain. Maybe at the end of the season, but I think I'm hopeful again.
No, I think you're hopeful. I think that's the thing. They released on Reddit a while back as well, saying, we're working on it. It's coming. Hopefully by the end of the year. Now, don't get me wrong. I heard it this time last year that it was going to be the end of 2022, and we're now in 2023, and they're coming out saying that it's going to be by the end of this year. One of the other things of that as well that made me laugh about the article in a way was the fact that they come out and said, yes, we want to look at getting it by the end of the year, and then they said, with anything, we might be delayed, so please don't hold us to it. Like,
they kind of sound like English football fans, it's coming home, but it never came.
Yeah, exactly. I don't disagree with you on that one. Right, the grid is up. Arthur Fertile is in first there. Jack Johns in second. Dan Mould third. Dan Ware in fourth. Patrick Thompson is in fifth. Chris Barnes sixth. Dan Sedgley seventh. Alan McCain eighth. Andrew Lovesey ninth. John Bailiff 10th. Dan Lewis 11th. And Ryan Dudley down in 12th place. Stuart Gibbons is 13th. John Brown 14th. Jamie Dengle 15th. VJ Rayner 16th. Deck Carver 17th. And Callum Milam is in 18th place. All you've got to do literally is get into the top 15, and if you're in 15th place, you will be on pole for race 2. So that's going to be an exciting one. And that's the thing, Dan, with it. It's like it's coming, but please don't hold us to it, because it might not come. And I can say that, probably I'd be very, very, very shocked if it's by the end of this year. I don't really know what I'll do. I'll probably fall off my chair or something in complete expression of it all. But that's and that's the thing. It's like, yeah, it's coming. But in the meantime, here's another track that people don't want. And you're like, great, thanks very much for that. How about you just give us the one thing that everybody has been crying out for?
Well, the LMP3, which is now coming to iRacing, is something that a lot of people wanted. And I think it came into R Factor 2 earlier than it came into iRacing, but still, I've had a drive, and it's so different to the LMP2 or the hypercar. It's kind of like the Praga Cup that you have in the UK. It's a very teeny tiny prototype with a bit too much power, so you kind of have to control it, but through a corner, like, blimey, that thing's got much downforce.
Yeah, but who asked for it?
And you have to defend it.
I don't remember seeing one Reddit post from somebody asking for an LMP3, but I've seen like 200 asking for rain.
It might be a while back though.
Yeah, I don't get it. The interesting thing is that you're driving it before anybody else.
In R Factor 2, that was.
Okay, yeah, but that doesn't mean it's going to react the same way in iRacing.
No, that's indeed what I was going to say afterwards. Like, I'm intrigued to see what it's going to be like in iRacing, because if we know one thing, both of the sims like to act very differently to whatever you do.
Yeah, but I think that's the interesting thing about many other sims as well. Like, R Factor 2, you can go and drive the, Formula E cars around the streets of Berlin. Race Room, you can go and drive some trucks if you really fancy having a truck race, which I think sounds amazing. And multiple, and then obviously R Factor, you've got the modding scene with the LMPs and the GTs and all that as well that you can drive here as well. We could be on this subject for ages, guys. Let us know your thoughts in chat as well, and about this whole situation, because obviously, us commentators only have an opinion. We don't actually control anything. as we are going to control the start of this race, as Arthur Fertile is now officially, and he has gone already, he's under the way. We are green here at the fun race at Line Rock for the SRL GR86 League Season 2, and it is Arthur Fertile leading us away with Dan Mould. Jack Johns in it as well, in the battle with Dan Wareham sitting in at 4th place here as well. Dec Crowther has dropped down the order, Daniel Lewis is as well, that's why, because he's on the grass. Ryan Dudley is in the mix in 11th place, up 1 places at the moment. You can see between 11th and Arthur at the top of the screen there how close they actually are, but it is Arthur Fertile getting away nicely with Jack Johns, got Dan Mould tucked up right behind him.
A clean start. I'm kind of surprised. I expected more chaos down the turn 1 because it's a corner where a lot of people dive to the inside, but everyone kind of held that inside, so there's no way through for anyone. And I think that also helped with how clean we got through that first part of the track. Now through the West Bend, the chicane, and down the hill we go. Patrick Thompson on the outside of Dan Wareham. Now this is a corner where you don't really want to be on the outside. A lot of respect given there by Dan Wareham to kind of allow Patrick Thompson on the outside, but usually what you see through there, because it's downhill, off camber, the car naturally kind of understeers to the outside of the track. Yeah, definitely. He was definitely lucky that Dan Wareham gave the amount of room that he had, to be fair. For Dan Wareham, he hit the braking, almost hit the brake and slowed up and tried to cut the inside line, of course, which is always tough to do when you're going at such high speed around that corner. I think from Patrick Thompson's point of view, he was quite lucky that he was given that room, because normally you would just open up the steering a little bit and it wouldn't be given that room, let's just say, and the grass would be leaning for Thompson there as well. As you can see, these cars go up over the hill. It's always very, very difficult there as well, as Ryan Dudley is battling away at the back end of this pack, currently in 10th place with Alan McCain. McCain is just about to be sent on by Bailiff. Bailiff's going to run him out side by side. McCain's going to have the better exit though, coming off down the hill. Bailiff got a big slip and slide on as well. It was like being at a swimming pool there for John Bailiff, and Dudley goes through, round, drops down through the last corner, and now Alan McCain, the game start, as Jack Johns and Arthur Fertile are side by side. Johns is going to try and send it around the outside of turn 1 here. Fertile's just going to send it in a little bit deeper. Is he going to get him on the exit? Can he hold Johns? Is Johns going to have the inside for turn 2? Through the S's they go. They're still running side by side. Arthur Fertile and Johns here. Arthur's dived up the inside again, going around the exit of the S's, now on their way round to Big Ben Dan, and they're still side by side. Where is Arthur Fertile going to make this pass stick, or is Jack Johns going to get out there? Remember, Arthur Fertile challenged him at the end of the season pretty well, was always up there in the top 3 together with Dan Mould, but Jack John, of course, champion from last season around the outside. Once again at the chicane, you should say that the inside is going to be difficult to ride it. These two have been side by side for a complete lap now, and I have a feeling that Arthur Fertile might just edge this out.
Yeah, Fertile's going to keep the lead there as well. He's once again under pressure. Going to have that inside line here as well. He wants to keep on it as much as he possibly can. Is Dan Mould going to send it free wide? He doesn't know really where to go. He's going to try and go through the middle. It's not going to work. They're back side by side round turn 1. They go again. Arthur Fertile, Jack Johns. Johns breaks in the middle of the corner. That's going to allow Mould to come up. Oh, nearly contact there as well. Dan Mould loses a place to Patrick Thompson. Thompson takes advantage of the fact that Johns broke in the middle of the corner. He come across. Dan Mould had nowhere to go apart from slow up. And unfortunately for Mould, it is now Thompson who's in front of him here as well. So from Thompson's point of view, he sees Jack Johns from the Pulses Esports currently seeing in front of him. Over the jump they go once more. And it is Arthur Fertile, Jack Johns and Patrick Thompson battling away there as well. Further down we've got the 3.5 second gap to Ryan Dudley. He's got John Bailiff climbing all over him.
James just mentioned that 3.5 second gap. It's an 8-car train at the front of the field. Turtle, Johnson, or Johns, Thompson, Mould, Wareham, Barnes, Sedgley, and Lovesey in it. That's the top 8. Then you have this 3-second gap to Dudley, Bailiff, McCain, Gibbons, Dangle, and VJ Rayner. Another 6-car train in the battle for P9. We're looking at Dan Mould here. He's trying to go around the outsides of Patrick Thompson, I think. Patrick Thompson has just made that pass on Dan Mould, who's now dropped down to P4. It's fallen back into the clutches of Dan Warren.
Yeah, Thompson obviously holding on to the position after that mistake by Johns, and Johns breaking in the middle of the corner, coming across Mould. Mould had nowhere to go, and he slipped behind Thompson. He was trying to come back through, but Thompson managed to stay ahead of him here as well as they go up over the hill once more and into that chicane. 5 minutes gone, only 5 minutes, and the amount of action that we've had here has been absolutely incredible. And Dan Mould, Thompson, Johns, Sturtle, Wareham, Sedgley, Barnes and Lovesey are all still mixing it up. There's a little bit of a gap opening up here as well to Chris Barnes. He's about half a second back from Dan Sedgley. Sedgley's about another 9/10 back from Wareham. So the gap is starting to open in that mid-pack and in that pack as well. Dudley and Bailiff are still side by side currently at the moment, going down into turn one. Bailiff on the right, Dudley on the left, as Dudley goes through and tries to hold on to that position. Bailiff past Dudley, Dudley past Bailiff, so they've swapped positions twice, and now it's Dudley out in front.
Now this battle is not over yet. Down the inside goes John again. Now finally Dudley has got that pass done. However, I spoke too soon because the 22 of John Bailiff down the inside now for the next right hander, the uphill, literally all the uphill. For the people who wanted to know. So not a difficult one to remember, but Dudley has once again got that move done.
Dudley has, and Dudley has managed to hold on to the position in front of Bailiff. Bailiff's not making it easy for him, mind you. He's still trying to go at him. Bailiff is slow on the exit. It's going to allow McCain to run round the diving turn, it's called here, and he's going to go round the outside, taking advantage of the fact that Bailiff has had to tighten it up. Thompson and Mould are side by side as well. Thompson still hanging on to that position. Mould still trying to get past. Little bit of rubbing, rear to front. Mould's on the grass. Oh
no!
Damn Mould hits the grass, loses a bumper that miraculously finds itself back on again, and now Mould is going down the order faster than an elevator with no brakes currently, and is sitting in 14th place is Dan Mould. Unfortunate for him there as well. Thompson, however, still got Wareham behind him here, and Dudley still got Bailiff. Bailiff still got McCann, and Gibbons is in the mix as well from the Blade Design team, sitting right behind him there as well. So it's all going to get very, very tight in this peak mid-pack. The front three have kind of separated a little bit, with Parfitt opening up a second gap over Jack Johns.
Now this has indeed allowed Turtle to create a little bit of a gap, but if there's one man you can trust to close that gap down, it is Jack Johns, of course, champion. Once again, we're going to mention it last season. Side by side, however, for Wareham and Barnes on the outside. That's a tricky run to make, though. However, in front, he's got a great example of Patrick Thompson trying to make that run on Daniel Sedgley around the outside, and he's got it done. He's on the inside now for the SS through Big Bend. This is a tricky corner, though, to ride around the outside, but he's done it.
Contact between Sedgley and Thompson. Thompson is hanging on to that position tighter than anything here as well. He nearly lost it to Sedgley. Sedgley tried to go for it and run through the last half of the third of the circuit, and he's still behind him here as we go into the final third. But it is Barnes is in there, Lovesey, Wareham, Dudley is 3.7 seconds back at the moment. If John Bailiff has got Alan McCain for company. McCain's just gone round the outside. Bailiff gets a little bit loose, and it's possible he's going to lose a position to Jamie Dengle. Dengle trying to go round the outside as well, and on that run down into turn one. But Lovesey now is on the back of Barnes, with Sedgley fighting out, trying to get back onto the back end of Thompson once more as well. And Turtle and Johns is out in front, with Johns about 7/10 back from Thompson currently at the moment. So it is still Turtle, Johns, Thompson, Sedgley, Barnes, Lovesey, Wareham, Dudley, Gibbons, and then Alan McCain is your final 10.
An amazing race so far, and with the 9 laps that we've done, it almost feels like we've got a full race distance, and with the amount of action we've had, but there's still 11 minutes to go. We're not even halfway in race number 1, so a lot more action to come. Another 20-minute race after this. James has told it before, 15th place reversed grid, so that'll mean that at the moment Crowther has that pole position for race number 2. Around the outside goes Dan Mould on Jamie Dengle. Luckily for Dan Mould, damage turned off in this race, so that's why he is able to continue after that huge shot. Yeah, coming out of turn 1. Now it is Daniel Sedgley ahead of Patrick Thompson. Behind that, I think it's Barnes who's just made that move on Lovesey.
Yeah, Barnes has got through here as we go on board with Sedgley. Chasing down Johns in front. Thompson's chasing down Sedgley. That's what Thompson sees currently at the moment as well.
Everyone at the car.
Yes, Mold's gone off track again. Unfortunately for Mold, he has gone off track again. Here we go. We're going to watch these cars go over the jump. You're going to see them now point to the sky, come back down, try and keep it loose. He's not kept it. Oh, Thompson just manages to hold on to it there and manages to survive once more. Lovesey's just gone up the inside of Barnes as well. Mold is off and off again for Daan Mold. Unfortunately, this is down into turn one. Daan Mold not having a good time of it currently at the moment.
Oh, what's happened here? Just too much. That's kind of weird. I think the rear tyres are a little bit warm on that car, a little bit hot. So that'll mean that that car is at the moment tricky to drive. A lot of oversteer in that car. The rear not quite gripping up as he wants. And it seems like that was the lap after that he had that crash down into this, well, exactly the same corner on the exit of turn one. But he's kind of, you know, gathered himself back up. P15, that'll be in pole position for the reverse grid race in race 2. But still a long way to go though, so still some time to make some decisions.
Yeah, 9th place, 9 minutes remaining here as well. So let's see how this happens here with Dan Sedgley once again battling away to try and get onto the back of Thompson, and is trying to keep back Lovesey at the same time. And Lovesey has made the move on Barnes. It is now sitting in 5th place here for Lovesey, where Barnes is in 6th. 4 seconds back to Rayner, to Dudley, and then we've got VJ Rayner down in 14th currently at the moment. Maybe if VJ wants to have a go at pole, he would let Daan Mold through and take pole in race 2. Not entirely sure he would do that, because as we saw in Hockenheim, VJ didn't get it quite right off the start and ended up on his roof. So unfortunately for VJ there as well, probably not a good idea that he starts in pole position.
Well, I mean, don't think you can say that from anyone, but yeah, from past experiences, and maybe for himself too, just the mental idea of starting on pole position again, maybe ending up on the roof. However, he listened to your advice at that time, James, so maybe being on pole position isn't too bad of an idea, as long as he doesn't listen to your advice.
Yeah, he listened to the thing is, I gave him advice, and I wasn't expecting him to do it in the way that VJ did it. You know, he ended up on his roof. I didn't say that. I didn't say, hey, VJ, go up, get spun up out of turn 8, and then end up on your roof out of Mercedes, did I? I don't remember the advice on that one. I remember the advice that he's got to look at him going and trying to get away at the start, which he didn't manage there. Thompson goes past, and certainly still tucked up behind him here as well. Barnes behind them. This battle, Barnes is just... Barnes has just gone round. So unfortunately for Barnes, he has just gone round there. McCain's still fighting it out with Gibbons, and Bailiff and Dudley are still all in the mix down in the midsection of this track. Barnes has gone all the way down, is still waiting all the way down in 16th currently. Gibbons is trying to take McCain on the run out and up through uphill, and he has done that job there as well. So Gibbons has cleared him, and McCain is trying to come back into the chicane. Can he get through? Yes.
He's going to make that pass.
Yeah.
Yes, he can.
Yeah, he did. He made it through. Absolutely amazing.
Great pass. Late on the brakes. Outbraked Gibbons behind him, who's now under attack from Bailiff behind him. He's now going to try and go around the outsides of the last corner. Much respect given from both drivers. You kind of need that. Like I said at the beginning of this race, you need the respect from both drivers to get through that corner side by side. The outside for turn number 1. And yeah, well, I have a feeling, even if it's Gibbons on the inside, this is going to be a difficult pass to make in the corner itself. The exit, however, will be better for the driver on the outside going into turn number 2. And there, he will make that pass.
Yeah, Gibbons gave him a bucket load of respect there. Left the door wide open, unfortunately. And Bailiff got through. Oh, McCain is going off. McCain off here.
Did all that hard work, and all that hard work has come undone again.
Yeah, but the question is, was it on his own? And by the looks of it, it was. He's hit the grass, hasn't he? Yep. Tried to move it out of the way of the tyres.
Oh, lucky to not hit that tyre wall.
He hit the barrier though, unfortunately, because there's not a lot of other options outside of that, and is now sitting in 11th place, battling away with Dengle, while Rayner is in 14th with Dan Lewis coming up at 15th, because Dan's just about to run around the outside down into turn 1. If VJ can hang it out here, and doesn't. Lewis has cleared him. And now for VJ, just slot back in behind him, mate. There you go, job done for him. So it's getting very, very tight back up front again. Thompson and Sedgley slowly coming back together. The gap's out about half a second.
It's looking closer and closer to another VJ Rayner pole position. And once again, Lewis up that hill, he jumps on Patrick Thompson, excuse me. Of course, the leaders now with this short track coming through on the drivers that are a little bit further back in the field. The only driver that has been lapped at the moment, or the only couple of drivers that have been lapped, is Callum Milam back down at P18. He's been lapped. Andy Lovesey behind that though. Dudley just behind this battle. It's Lovesey and Warren for P5 overall. Where's he going to place his cars? The outside for turn number 1 once again. However, got that pass done before they even turned into the corner.
Yeah, Lovesey gave him an absolute chunk of room there. And now Dan Mould and McCain are finding out with Dengle in front of these guys going down into turn 1. A different line again, which is what we spoke about. Different lines in turn 1 that they can use. You can either go in deep and come out wide and take the exit on 2, or you can hug the inside that some do and others don't. So at the moment, Dan Mould is trying to make his way through, sitting in 11th place at the moment. VJ Rayner is in pole for race 2. Lovesey and Wareham are going at it again as they're coming into the West Bend chicane at the top of the hill here as well. Lovesey holding on in that very brightly coloured pink and blue car, with another pink and blue car behind him, to be honest.
There's some black in the car behind though. That's how you can kind of keep them apart, I would say. But it's wearing down the inside the car with the black on the pink and blue. He's gone down the inside now of turn number 1. Once again, we'll see these two run side by side into turn 1. I don't think, however, that outside line is going to work. I know it won't.
No, from Wareham's point of view there, he could have opened up the steering and made that incredibly difficult for Lovesey to keep that on the grass, off the grass, to be honest, because he was almost there with the steering that he did open up. McCain is still fighting away with Dengle. Mould is dropping about a second back currently at the moment. Callum Milam is not loving this circuit and is slowly dropping off here as well. He's a lap down already. He's had a few more incidents. I'm trying to see what happened to John Brown. Oh, contact with Gibbons, and well, Gibbons made sure there. He had one bite of the cherry, didn't quite take the whole thing, and he had another second bite, and unfortunately for John Brown, that's how he ended up all the way down there. So Gibbons did get something to eat in the end, and it began with John and ended in Brown.
Well, not the way he would have wanted to do that, I'm sure about that, but yeah, on the straight too. So,
I don't even know if anybody really wants somebody hitting their bum down constantly. I don't know. I don't like it myself, but some people might. I'm not entirely sure in a race car if that's the ideal thing to do. If you're going to have a go at somebody, have a go once, but not twice. Blimey, you've definitely made sure.
Some people have a nibble of the bottom because they want to slipstream. They want to kind of bum draft like they do in NASCAR. So sometimes you do want it, but not in the way that he got it this time round.
No, I think Gibbons went for a big old bite there. He didn't quite have enough. He was obviously clearly a little bit more wanted it. And he definitely did. Yeah, he was hungry and went for him again there as well. So that's what happened to John Brown, unfortunately, there as well. He got his bottom bitten by Gibbons, and Gibbons did make a ceremonious effort in making sure he didn't come through. I'm going to presume it was... Now, I say it was that because actually, that's actually got the same... Oh, no. Hold on. Let's have a look again and see who was that behind him, because was it Gibbons? Yes, it was anyway. There we go, I did get it correct. Phew. Otherwise, I've just played Derek Crowther for a complete incident he had nothing to do with there. Barnes and VJ Rayner. Barnes is one in pole position. Come on, VJ, you can do it. Can you get pole position? You need to be there, mate, otherwise you're going to be all the way down in 16th currently. Come on, VJ, you got this.
I don't think he's going to hold their bars enough in that top 5 fight. But
look,
yeah.
you know, we try, right? We're advocates of the underdog, and VJ is an underdog, and we do try. And unfortunately for VJ, he's now in 16th place. He needs Barnes to have a dilemma, or he just needs to Stuart Gibbons him or something. I don't know.
Is that now a thing?
Well, I don't know what else to call it. He had a good, Gibbons had a good old bite at him, didn't he? Poor old John Brown. He was like a Big Mac at McDonald's at that point, with Gibbons trying to eat him all at the same time. So, you know, you got to give him something, yeah, at the end of the day. But VJ, you got to give him ideas. Well, I tried to give him ideas and occupy him, and he ended up on his roof. So probably not best if I do that again, to be honest. But I'm just saying that from that point of view, you know, at the end of the day, that's what happened. So there we go. But Thompson and Johns is having a battle here as well. I think it's going to be the final lap of the race, so Parfitt will come round this time along. Oh no! Johns is gone, and he's in the middle of the track. No! Oh!
Get away from there.
He's still trying to go, but it is going to be Fertile for race 1. Fertile is going to take it here.
Unbelievable. What a drama on the final lap of the race.
Yeah. It's going to be Patrick Thompson in second. Dan Sedgley is going to get the unexpected third, with Wareham, Lovesey and Johns coming across the line. So great effort there for Johns to get it to the back into the garage, should we say, as Dan Mould is going to come over the line in 9th place. I want to keep an eye. I think it's going to be Chris Barnes on pole. So upset. I thought we were going to see VJ pole there. Unfortunately not this time around. So there we go.
We're all rooting for him.
Yeah, we was all rooting for VJ, but here he comes in 16th place, bless him. Across the line he goes there as well.
And imagine he goes up to P5. No, sadly not.
No penalties clearly for somebody sitting there as well. But here are the results for race 1. And we do have Arthur Fertile is your winner by 5 seconds, almost give or take 9/10, you know, or 900ths. Patrick Thompson in second, Dan Sedgley third, Dan Wareham fourth, Andrew Lovesey fifth, Jack John sixth, Brian Dudley seventh, John Bailiff eighth, Dan Mould ninth, Jamie Dengle 10th, Derek Craver in 11th, Stuart Gibbons 12th, Alan McCain 13th, Dan Lewis 14th, Chris Barnes 15th, VJ Rayner down in 16th place, John Brown 17th, and Callum Milam 3 laps down in 18th there as well. So unfortunately not a good evening there for Callum Milam. Not loving this car currently at the moment as well, and I wonder if I can have a chat with Mr. John Brown here as well. Let's see if John will come in and have a chat to me. John, how are you, sir?
I'm all right. How's it going?
I'm all right. You were almost a Big Mac at McDonald's there with Stuart Gibbons having a go, not once, but he had to go twice at you.
Oh man, I did that whole straight backwards, I think.
Yeah, it was. You can thank Stuart, mate, all day on that one. He had a couple of second bites at you.
I'm just queuing it up on the replay here so I could see who it was.
Yeah, it was Stuart Gibbons. He had one go, you managed to hold it, and then he had another go at you. And unfortunately couldn't hold it the second time.
We've renamed him Stuart Scoop Gibbons after that GT4 race the other day.
Yeah, well, yeah, he did punch somebody up in the air, and that was quite amusing. We have just named it, though. You could always do a Gibbons and just take him out, which is, that's what it looked like as well. So, unfortunately for him. But, look, overall...
Pull a Gibbons.
Yeah, pull a Gibbons there as well. What's the plan for race 2, John? Obviously not to get near Stuart Gibbons.
Where did I finish? I never even noticed. I don't think I'll be in the reverse, will I?
You won't be in pole, no, but...
No.
Let me have a quick look. You are in...
way down at the back.
Yeah, you're in 17th.
Yeah, so the plan is to watch the carnage unfold in front of me. And then I make as many advances as I can.
Well, do you know what, John? That sounds like a plan, doesn't it? You know, and I think that's literally all you can do from that far back, isn't it, really?
I'd say front row seats, but it's more like back row seats.
Are you going to go...
Of the carnage.
Do we think we're going to say John Brown for the win?
where's Stuart? Oh, he's pretty high up, so maybe.
It depends how many people Stuart eats on the way through.
Yeah. He's got three people in front of him. I'm sure he could hit that down the street.
If he can hit you and you're on your own, John, I'm sure he can hit 3. It should be all good, mate. But John, a pleasure to talk to you, sir, and I'll look up, maybe catch up with you later.
Yeah, no worries.
Take care, mate. Bye. Oh dear. See, that's even a thing as well, where you can have a laugh about the fact that Stuart Gibbons had 2 goes at you. What a beep show by me, says VJ. VJ, I thought you were going to get pole. You were so close. Almost got it. But I mean, that's the thing. That's the spirit of the league, where you can have a laugh and a joke about the fact that somebody literally did just ceremoniously take you out down the start.
Yeah, and I mean, he will know himself that that was not the way to go forwards. So, yeah. Well, Stuart Gibbons himself will know that that is not something that he needs to do once the real season gets underway. For the people who didn't know yet, no points being dealt out today. Just a fun race, just to kind of get people familiar with how the league runs. A lot of these drivers we did see last season, but there are some new faces, so just to get them familiar with the league, and also to get you guys familiar with the league, we have a 5-minute warm-up in between every session, which gives drivers a bit of a chance for a toilet break after a 20-minute race, and especially with this one-make series, James, the racing is so intense that, you know, you kind of want to have a break after about 10 minutes already, especially once you were in that front pack, where there were about 8-9 cars in the battle for P1 at some point at the early stages of that race. So you kind of want to slow it down a bit, have some time to gather yourself back up. That's also what this warm-up is for.
Yeah, definitely as well. As Callum Miner is just trying to get used to the car. I think he's had an absolute horrendous race one, and it's just seeing how he gets on here as well. And yeah, you don't do it like that.
I mean, you won't get far.
No, definitely not. But if you do want to join, guys, tonight, don't forget you can join. Discord links down in the description below as well. And give the videos a big old thumbs up. That would be absolutely amazing here as well, as we'll be going up, bringing you up the grid for race 2 very, very shortly. As you'll see Callum Island just magically disappear. And there he goes as we bring up the grid for race 2. Chris Barnes is in first. Daniel Lewis second. Alan McCain third. Gibbons is in 4th place there as well. Deck Crowther 5th, Jamie Dengle 6th, Dan Mould 7th, John Bailiff 8th, Ryan Dudley 9th, Jack Johns 10th, Andrew Lovesey 11th, and Dan Wareham down in 12th place. Then we've got Dan Sedgley, Patrick Thompson, Arthur Ferdle, VJ Rayner, John Brown, and Callum Milam rounds out the top 15, top 18 here this evening as well. So it's going to be an interesting one. Stay tuned, get yourself some popcorn, grab a drink, sit back, chill out, relax, because you've got another 20-minute heat here to go as well. So settle down for this one. Dan, who are you going to go for the win?
Oh, I was going to ask the same thing to you, but I am going to go with Dan Mould. As long as he can get past Stuart Gibbons, everything should be fine for him.
Do you know what? I'm going to put my neck out here. I am going to go with Barnesy. I think Barnesy will be able to hold the front. I'm not saying, you know, hopefully he will.
It's just gone back to pit lane, so he's not going to start. That's going to promote everyone a spot up who was behind him. That means Dan Wareham, Daniel Sedgley, Patrick Thompson, Arthur Turtle, VJ Rayner, John Brown, Callum Milam, Jack Johns and Andy Lovesey all don't have to overtake Ryan Dudley, because he's gone back into pit lane after being on the grid. Don't know why he's done that.
Technically, I'm going to call for a restart there, because that would put VJ Rayner in 15th and he should be on pole. So
I agree.
Yeah, let's restart the race. Rayner for pole, and let's see. Oh, that's what I agree. But, you know, hey, I don't have no control, so unfortunately I can't. But once more, into the breach, my dear, we go for race 2 on that rolling start, of course, with the very slow Porsche safety car out in the front. Currently at the moment here as well. So let's see how this all gets on with Barnes, Gibbons, McCain, Crowther, Dengle, Bailiff, Mould, all in the front 7. So it's going to be an exciting one. So guys, sit back, relax, chill out, and get ready for a 20-minute manic race 2, no doubt. Here.
What do we expect down in turn 1?
Chaos. Right, on we go. There you go. Straightforward answer.
Okay. I expect us to get clean through turn 1, just like we did last time. I think everyone's going to keep that inside.
All right, I'm going to predict it now. Loves is going to miss his breaking point and hit people.
Okay, there we go.
Now, if that actually happens, I'll be very surprised, but we'll see. From Dan Lewis's point of view, he needs to allow Barnes to go through. Barnes is gone. He's already started because Lewis did hold up here. So from him, he's already gone and Barnes is out in front. Let's see what happens here with Lovesey. Is he going to do what I predicted? As he going down now into that turn 1 area. Dan Mould is in front of him at all. It's looking like it. Oh no, it was Gibbons who did it. Gibbons and Crowther. I think it was Gibbons who went off. I got a funny feeling it may have even been Crowther who punted his teammate.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, Crowther punted Gibbons off and said, well, if you're going to do it, I'm going to do it. So for him, he's gone off there as well. And it is still Chris Barnes out in front currently in a moment, chased down by Alan McCann. Sorry, Andrew Lovesey, it wasn't you at all. Gibbons is now into the pitch. Jack John's taken a diver off track as well. And has jumped all the way down the field into 11. Thompson behind him. John Brown has made up some positions. He's up 14, up 3 into 14. Not, he's gained 14, because that'd be quite scary already.
Contact!
Big contact with Thompson there as well. And unfortunately for Thompson, he's under attack from Wareham. Oh, Brown again! Even at the back of the field. Poor old John Brown.
What a
John Parker.
What a fun race he has had.
Yeah, Brown's gone, and unfortunately for him, he got caught up with Thompson, and Thompson come across the back on the track and ceremoniously put him into the barrier. So unfortunately for John Brown, another race gone out the window with McCain and Barnes now out in front currently at the moment, and we'll have to see how these guys battle away nicely.
Barnes, you said that he will be able to hold the front. At the moment, has already dropped down a position, but it seems like he's all over the back of McCain. Now McCain is no slouch either in these cars. He knows how to defend. Successfully at the moment, has kept that lead for about a lap and a half now already. It happened, I think, down the turn 2 after turn 1. Then you have Arthur Thurley down on P9 behind Daniel Sedgley. Molds off.
Sedgley's gone round.
And that's contact, I think. Who was off to? Was that Patrick
Bailiff.
Johnson, or was the 22 of Bailiff who was off?
Yeah, Bailiff went off there as well. I've got a funny feeling Mould had, I don't know if Mould had something to do with it or he caused a bit of a distraction here. Because he avoids Crowther. Bailiff goes round with Lovesey. Sedgley spins and goes back into Bailiff. And unfortunately there for Dan Sedgley, he's off at the side and so is John Bailiff. So a little bit of chaos there as well further back in the order. But it is still McCain with Barnes literally attached to his rear bumper.
I think a little bit is an understatement there. Chris Barnes all over the back of him still. And McCain up the hill creates a little bit of a gap for himself. That is nice. I think Chris Barnes, also lift a little bit because you don't want to be behind another car there going into that uphill. Because it does kind of take the air off the front of your car, and you do a big wheelie up that hill if you are close behind another car. That's what we saw at the last race. I think it was the car in front that time who got a bit loose, but it's just that little bit of aerodynamic distortion that you can get once your car is close behind you that made it so that corner is all of a sudden a very, very tricky one.
Yeah, it definitely is. Crowther's trying to get onto the back of he's trying to defend from Ferdal. BJ up 7 places. I've got him up 6. I'm not quite sure where you saw the other one. It looks like Crowther may have had a bit of an off track. It did. He's going to turn around and say nope. As Bailiff is still trying to fight it out with Lovesey here as well. But McCain and Barnes are still wrapped up together. And unfortunately for Crowther, he has gone off track. And that is probably the end of it for Crowther. I'd be very surprised if he come back out after that. Barnes looking up the inside currently at the moment. He's going to make it through into the West Bend chicane. Chris Barnes. Oh no, my boy, you spun him, McCain, you rascal. As McCain and Barnes are coming together. And unfortunately for Barnes, he has gone round. So there goes my bid for the driver for the win.
Pan Moulds in the P6, but Barnes, oh man, that is unfortunate there. Got completely turned, left that inside door not even open, was was about to cover that inside line. And I think no right for Daniel Lewis or for Alan McCain, excuse me, to be there. Look at that, a little bit of a slide on the exit, which allowed Alan McCain to get a better exit, but still nowhere close enough alongside for him to put his car there. Arthur Thurtle has gone up the inside now on McCain. You don't want to run through here side by side. The barrier gets really close on exit there to McCain. He's managed to make it through the inside now for Thurtle, and John's behind that.
McCain nearly claimed at the back end of Thurtle there. He's now got Johns behind him. So let's see how this one goes here as well. Let's see what happens with Jack Johns once more as he's fighting away with Crowther. And see how they get on here, Dan.
Well, Thurtle is all over the back of Lewis. Now Jack Johns is 7 positions up. Thurtle at the moment the biggest gainer in this field, up 30 positions. There's some smoke up ahead. Was that from Daniel Lewis? It was not. Luckily for him, he's still 10th ahead of Arthur Thurtle in that 27. But what a drive it has been so far in this race from Arthur. He's been all over everyone at the back, and I think he hasn't been behind someone for longer than half a lap here. That tells me how he's been able to make these positions up that quickly. Daniel Lewis now
has gone up the inside.
There was room to do that, and he did it successfully though.
Yeah,
I have to give that to him. That was a monumental overtake.
Yeah, definitely did. Unfortunately for him, he's still got Arthur Thurtle behind him, who's battling away with Alan McCain and Dan Wareham. Wareham's just taking the inside down into turn 1 as well. So it looks like Wareham is going to make that move over Alan McCain, as we'll have a look back from Thurtle's wing. Is he going to make it through? Wareham's running inside, but McCain's got it deep. That's also going to allow Dan Mould through as well. And poor Alan McCain is going further back than he is going further forward currently at the moment. And he's now dropped back. Sedgley and Bailiff battling out here as well. Sedgley gets his nose cut off from John Bailiff. And Bailiff does make it through over Dan Sedgley, but his front pack's still fighting it as Callum moves over the way once more here. And it saves out the way there. Daniels and Thurtle battling it out. Here he goes. Thurtle's shooting to try and go up the inside of Lewis. Lewis runs a little bit wide. Thurtle says thank you very much, and he's through. And Dan Wareham and Dan Mould tucked up right behind him.
This has allowed at the front Jack Johns to get a little bit of a gap, and you know, if you give our defending champ a little bit of a gap, he's going to take it. Dan Mould, however, has just gotten past on Dan Wareham. He's now fully on the back of him. He's not going to let this one go without a fight. Late defense from Dan Mould. And he makes it so that Dan Wareham has to go to the outside. However, I don't think this fight is over yet.
No, I don't believe it is either here as well, as these guys are battling it out once more. And we're going to have to see how this one works out here, and let's see what happens here tonight as Dan Mould and Lewis are still fighting out with Wareham and McCain right behind them.
Lewis has got to defend this podium. He deserves that podium. However, Dan Mould thinks differently of that. They're going to go 3 wide into the chicane. This can never go right, can it? Yes, it can, and it is Wareham who takes full advantage of the two ahead of him fighting, not looking in their mirrors. Dan Wareham up into P3 from P5. What an overtake for him.
Yeah, he got past Dan Mould there as well. He's now going to set on his way to get onto the back of Mr. Thurtle. Jack Johns in front of him currently at the moment. VJ Rayner hanging on to this battle with Lovesey here as well. And also Sedgley's going to go through. There's Bailiff there as well. Has VJ got the pace to try and keep hold of him currently at the moment? He's not. I think Bailiff's going to go through. And Bailiff, I believe, is going to get this position away from Rayner down into turn 1.
He is. He was up the inside. However, Rayner has now dropped back to P11. Still up 5 positions, mind you, from where he started to still for Rayner doing a good job. However, has Thompson now 6 seconds behind him. Let's see if he can keep that gap in front of him, though. An even better battle going on. Daniel Sedgley on the inside of Lovesey going up the hill. I'm surprised if they keep it side by side, but it is possible. We've seen it. However, very tricky to do. You can see it to the outside. There's contact with the wall. I expected this to happen, and that is Andy Lovesey seeing the fate of the barrier on the outside of uphill. And I told you this was going to happen once we were going to run through there side by side. You do not want to take that risk, and that's why.
Yeah, definitely not a good idea for them guys there as well, unfortunately. It's now all over for Lupsy. He's now sitting down in 11th place, chasing down Rayner once more. Johns has got Fertile for company. Wareham has got Lewis and McCain currently at the moment. And it is Johns trying to stay ahead of Arthur Fertile. And he's going to definitely struggle to do that here this evening as well, because Fertile is quick here. And once again, it's these two at the front of the field. But it is Dan Wareham currently chasing down McCain, sitting here currently at the moment.
Yeah, but like I said in the beginning, James, that corner is just... It is not a corner where you risk going side by side through. It's kind of like... Oh, Rouge Blanchiment?
Rouge Blanchiment, no Rouge?
Yeah, no.
You want to try that one again?
God. Radion or Rouge.
There
Got that
you
all mixed
go.
up.
Good job, bud. Proud
No,
of you.
you just don't risk it side by side today. It's just such a risky corner. And I think with the recent updates that has been done to the Spa-Francorchamps circuit, you can do it because there is runoff. But on that corner, they're not going to extend that barrier to the outside, so you can't really go through there side by side. Dan Wareham at the moment trying to make this pass on McCain for P4. He has done it, but McCain got to fight back round the outside.
Yeah, they've gone and swapped a few places. Wareham's got past McCain, then McCain's got past Wareham, and he's just done it there as well. Here we go. Go up over the hill. They manage it there at the moment. Tucked up right behind him. Wareham's going to try and go up the inside currently with 8.5 minutes remaining. Not this time. Doesn't make it. And he backs out of it there as well for them. John Bailiff has got Dan Sedgley in front of him as well. Battle down in 7th and 8th place currently at the moment on lap 11 with 8.5 minutes remaining. Bailiff takes a very wide line going into that chicane. He's looking for the run out down into turn 1 over Sedgley. Is he going to be able to get him here? Can Fertile get onto the back of Johns? 101.15, 101.111 for Johns, in favour of Johns this time around. Bailiff now going at Sedgley. He's going to look at trying to get him off that inside line down into turn 1. Bailiff's has got to send it in hot. Sedgley's going to go round. Bailiff goes round.
Well, the inside kind of allows you to, well, dictate that corner, but if you do it in the way that Bailiff just did, it is going to send you around. You can't really afford to have any contact through there. Your car is so on edge already, and just the slightest bit of contact, front bumper to rear bumper, will upset the car enough to, like you saw, spin you around.
Yeah, we've got 7 minutes remaining here. Callum Milam's gone into the pits. I think he's going to park it up here. It's not been his favourite car whatsoever here this evening. So let's see what happens as Fertile tries to go up the inside of Johns. He thinks better of it this time around. 7.5 minutes. We're going to have 7.5, probably 8 laps more of this circuit with 1 minute a lap. And, you know, 1 minute times 7 laps. Quick maths. You know what I mean? There we go, up here in the booth. But let's see how this one works out and whether or not Johns and Fertile will take the picture. Well, it's true.
Now, I've had this chat with Zach Sweeney earlier on last week that we are commentators, James, and it's not only me that you can't really trust on maths. It's all of us. Commentators, we're good for one thing, and that is shouting about the action that is happening on track. Now, with you, that's a bit of a different story. Being a teacher in your past work experience and stuff like that, you can trust James that he does get his math right. However, we are still all human, so we do sometimes make mistakes. However, I have heard that one certain Mr. James Parfitt never makes mistakes.
Really?
Yeah, I've heard that. Someone told me that.
I'm not quite sure who told you that one. I tell you what, unless I'm AI and in a robotic form, I'm still human. And so, yeah, I do make mistakes, but obviously when it comes to 1 minute times 7 and you get 7, you know, 1 times 7 is 7. That's part of your time.
Then you forgot the extra lap, so it still is 8, I think.
Well, that's what I said, 7 or 8, didn't I? With a 1 minute a lap, 1.1 second per lap times 7 is 7.7, which would give you 8 laps.
There we go. Maths with teacher James Parfitt. Back to the racing action. It's Thompson behind Sedgley. I mean, well, you are right. We did just learn a pretty important piece in our daily life to count.
Exactly. You know, I gave you education here as well. So
commentary, education, we're good for everything here at the JP Broadcasting YouTube channel. Wedding commentary, ask us for everything.
Oh, yes, that reminds me, I've got something to do next week as well. So I'll show you the video when it's out, and I've done what I need to do with the video, but there is something coming out. Hopefully, I'm going to try and get it done next week. I have promised the gentleman that I will get it done. I'm not going to name any names, just in case they are watching, the people involved, so I'm not going to say anything there as well. Hopefully next week it should be done and dusted, and I will release it as we just watched Ferl run John. No,
oh, no,
no, no, you can. Oh. Ferl gave John's room, and John's made it through. Ferl's going to try and go up the inside here as well. The West Bench chicane is John's going to give him room on the exit. He needs room. Is he going to make it through? Ferl's going to have the inside run down the diving turn. Down through the last corner they go. Thurdles can. Oh, he could have made that so much more difficult to Johns than he actually did there as well. Johns trying to lean on him, get that side drive down into turn one. Thurdles near enough, got enough in front to be able to control the corner. Johns is going to go out wide. He's going to try and sweep round the outside. There's going to be contact. Oh, Thurdles got to go in deep. Johns is going to have the corner for turn two. They're going to be running side by side once more. Ferl's going to now try and go in deep and run around the outside. And unfortunately, he's now got to settle in behind Johns. He did not get that run out of that turn one down to be able to control that outside for two.
Well, I'm surprised that they even were able to run side by side through the uphill, but this has allowed Dan Mole to come back into this fight too. It's now a 3-horse race at the front of the field. 4 minutes left. That's about another 4 laps until we end this race. And Thurdle has had another look up the inside of Jack Johns. He has to watch out now, because it's not only attacking that he has to do, it's also defending to Dan Mold behind him.
Yeah, he's going to have this job of trying to now defend from Dan Mold and battle it out once more here again for another lap of Lime Rock. This tricky track that has claimed so many people here this evening. Unfortunately, he didn't claim John Barnes just once, John Brown once. It claimed him twice as Fertile tries to go up the inside of Johns again. He's going to try and run that run round turn two. He's got to control the corner. He's now, if he's not going to get that corner, he's got to get in front of Mold, and he did. Just about. There was just enough room there, Dan, and Fertile slots it back in.
Well, there's good defensive work there by Archer, but has allowed now Jack Johns to create just the tiniest bit of a gap. And I don't think that Thurdle is going to be able to make that move down to the chicane. He has got to get run out of the uphill, but still a long way to go. And I think it still has to be a dive if he wants to make this move. This is more to go defensive from Dan Mold behind him, that he tucked the inside there, that he hugged the inside, I have to say. But yeah, Archer Thurdle is all over the back of Johns. However, Johns is helped by the fact that Dan Mold is also all over the back of Archer.
Yeah, these guys with an average of 4,945 IR between the three of them. If you add them all up, divide by 3, that's how you get an average. And it is 4,945. These guys, between the three of them, as an average, still got about 3.6k more than me. And I'm a solo. So there we go. Well done, boys. Cracking job. Just goes to show how bad I am at driving, I suppose. There we go.
I mean,
one food review coming up.
Am I?
No, well, I don't know what yours are. What are you?
I am at 2k exact. Well, 2.064 or something, but 2k exact.
Well, there you go. And you probably drive weekly as well.
No, not at all. I have the first race coming up in the long old time after the Nords. The only things I do really is these specials events, which is the Nords, now the Majors 24 coming up this weekend, and then it's just these special events. I can't really be bothered to do these official races because, well, like you said, it's just a shit fest all the time. Excuse my language. Well, it is.
Yeah, I get that. I was talking about the other bit, but fair play to you here as well. Fertle's going to have one more lap once more here as well. One food review coming up then, James? Unfortunately not. Not the food review that I was hoping to get done while I was holidaying. If you probably saw my missus's face and the fact that
Oh, yeah.
My phone stayed at home, and the only night I was going to do the food review, unfortunately, my phone was dead, partly because I spent all day in Barcelona and was not near a plug to charge the thing. So, unfortunately, there won't be a food review, but I will provide something else that hopefully, as I say, I will try and get done next week as well. So, there we go. We're going on to the final lap now as well. Johns is still out in the lead here, up 9 places. Goes to the right-hand side, he goes to the left-hand side. Do you weave any more, son? I'll give you some needles and some cotton and you can stitch me a jumper while you're weaving across the track here, going down into turn 1. Here we go. We're going to try and get on. We're sitting in the car with Arthur Verdal for the final lap here, going round turn 2. It is your closest battle. They've dropped Mould off. Mould now has dropped off the back of the pack here, and it's Arthur Verdal and Jack Johns once more down for the last half of the lap.
I can't see where Thurtle is going to be able to get him. He has to have a good run up the hill here in order for him to have a good run through the chicane. He does look to have a good run. He's 0.17 behind Johnson. He's going to go to the outside for the chicane. He moves him out wide. Neatly done there by Jack Johns. The outside though for the last corner. Who's going to get it? Is it going to be Johnson? Is it going to be Thurtle? The last corner will decide that. I don't think the run through the line is long enough. He's going to pull alongside. Who's going to be? It's going to be Johns. Is it going to be Arthur Thurtle across the line? 28 thousandths of a second. It is at the end. Jack Johns who gets it. But if that doesn't get you excited for the start of the season in 2 weeks' time, then I don't know what does.
Yeah, Dan Mole comes over the line in third place there as well. 0.028 seconds there as well. Between the two of them, Thompson comes over the line at the same time. He does an absolute stellar job. Up 6 places, sitting in 8th overall. And then we're going to see the likes of Lewis, Rayner and Brown come over the line here as well for the end of race 2. So there we go, guys. As I say, if you want to get yourselves involved, don't forget to get to the Discord links down below in the descriptions and get yourselves involved and come and join in this GR86 action. Kicking off in 2 weeks' time here as well at Laguna Seca for the first race of all places for there as well for round 1. So come and get yourselves involved and let's have a look at the results of race 2 here this evening. And it is Jack Johns out in front, Arthur Verdal in second, Dan Mould third, Dan Wareham fourth, Alan McCain 11.6 seconds back in 5th place, Jamie Dengle 6th, Patrick Thompson 7th, John Bailiff 8th, Dan Lewis 9th, VJ Rayner is in 10th. Then behind that we've got Dan Sedgley in 11th, Rayner, mind you, up 5 places, so fair play to him. Sedgley in 11th, Brown in 12th, Lovesey in 13th, Milam in 14th, then Barnes, Craver, Gibbons and Dudley did not finish the race. I don't even think Dudley actually started the race. He jumped back to the pits quite early on here as well, so an absolutely stellar job from them for this race down. It was an interesting one, wasn't it? And it was just between Thurtle and Johns once more coming down to the line.
I don't think, James, the last time we will see that battle this season. We saw it at the end of last season. Arthur has improved so much in this car. And I think he's really going to be a challenger for Jack Johns. And I think Jack Johns is going to have his hand full defending that championship against Arthur Thurtle, Dan Mould, Dan Wareham. So many drivers, honestly, who could take that championship this season. But like I said, I don't think it's going to be the last time we're going to see from that battle between Arthur Thurtle and Jack Johns.
No, I think it's definitely going to run for the whole season here as well. And we've got Mr. Dan Mould in the chat. Dan comes and joins us here as well. And, well, third place in race 2. Dan, that weren't too bad at all.
Yeah, it was good, wasn't it?
It was good.
I lost talent.
Did you? When did you lose that, mate?
I don't think I ever got it, actually.
It's tough to lose it, isn't it? When you, well, in my case, I've never had it, so it makes no difference there as well. But yeah, an absolutely stellar job, mate. Did you enjoy that?
I enjoyed catching Jack and Arthur up, but I didn't enjoy getting the bloody slowdown after I caught them. But it's so hard to see the apex of that chicane when you're literally on someone's bumper. And it's minuscule of a mistake to get the slowdown. So, but yeah, I enjoyed it. Some good racing. Yeah, it's if that's what the season's going to bring, I'm all for it. I need to put some more time in the car though.
Yeah, well, let's have a quick discussion about race 1.
I think is it Thomas?
Yeah,
Thomas
Thompson.
Who's raced. Yeah, Thompson. Yeah, I got a little bit. I think I had a bit of contact with Jack, and he just saw an opportunity and took it. And then I tried my best to get him on the inside of him on turn 2, but I just got onto the grass, and then that was it. It's game over. Then once the back end goes, there's no saving it. No, it's not like the TCRs. You can pull the front end around the TCRs on these things. Nope, it's gone. And then I was just pushing too hard, and I lost it again on turn 1. But yeah, that's what it is, isn't it? Live and learn.
Live and learn. Going forward, though, but not a bad ending to the race here as well. Just give everybody how they can get involved here, Dan. Obviously, this is the fun race, and we've still got time for people to sign up.
Loads of time, yeah. We've got
4 weeks.
2 more weeks to the media, 4 weeks to the race 1. So, yeah, loads of time. We are hoping to get a Pro-Am series going within this GR. The time has now been brought forward, so it's an hour before it was last season, which is better, I think. It gets, it's a bit more of a sensible time for racing. But yeah, if we get enough involved, like we have done previously, like I say, it'll be Pro-Ams and a little bit of a prize going if we can get them in. But yeah, a lot to do yet. We've got to post the rules and the points. That'll all depend on the amount of people we get in. If you want to get involved, just if you go onto the SRL TV YouTube, there should be a link to the Discord. Join in there, ask questions, and we will answer daily.
Yeah, don't forget, guys, if you are sitting on the JPB, they're all the same links. What's that? Down below, so you can have a look down there as well. Well, Dan, thanks very much for joining us, bud. Anyone you want to shout out before we let you go?
My little boy, he asked me the other day, Dad, why didn't you shout me out? My reply was, you never watch my races, but I'll give him a shout out. I'll clip it and then I'll send it to him. So, hello, Zachary. Thank you for watching this little clip.
Hi, Zach. Welcome in. Does he not stay up late enough, Dan, or not?
He stays up, yeah, but he's FIFA mad. He's not yet embraced the racing scene. He's got a full rig sitting here waiting for him when he does. But he's just not there yet. But I imagine one day he will. Hopefully, anyway.
All right, Dan. Well, thank you very much for joining us, bud. And we look forward to chatting to you as the season goes on.
Monday, James. Monday.
Oh, yes. You're in the Clio's Monday, aren't you?
I am, yeah. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, I need to put more practice in this. Then the Clios, TCRs.
Yeah,
how are you going to manage
it? Mate. I don't know. I've got loads of DIY jobs to do that weekend. I've got build my little boy a new PC, and I've got to put some time in for the Clio League. It's going to be hard. I'm sure I'll find it.
I'm sure you will, mate, as well. Well, I'll see you Monday, bud.
See you, mate.
Take
Bye.
care. Right, I want to bring this gentleman into the booth, but I'm just wondering what he's going to produce on his way in. So we will welcome in Arthur Ferdal. Arthur, welcome into the booth, buddy. How are you?
I'm good, thank you, James. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you very much. I'm impressed with you.
What do you mean you're impressed?
Well, I'm impressed because normally I was expecting you to come in with a fanfare or something playing in my ear roll. But you didn't. You come in quite quietly.
Like that?
Yeah, that's what I expected. So there you go. Winning race 1, bud. Second place in race 2. Missed out by 0.028 of a second across the line. Not a bad ending at all.
No, not bad. It's so tough to overtake around this track. I think through the chicane, I had a lot more speed than I would have carried a lot more speed than what Jack did. But there is just one line there. You just can't. It's not an overtaking spot unless you're fully alongside someone before braking. And after that, yeah, it is just so tough to overtake. And it was a great race. I always love racing with Jack.
Yeah, you two having a nice side-by-side action there. You went side-by-side for pretty much a whole lap, if I'm not mistaken, of course. But managed it as well. All right. Aspirations going forward, sir. What's the plan?
Total, complete and utter domination.
Oh, you brave boy. And I've also seen something that should get you excited. Trophies for class winners. Can you get another one?
Yep. I'm going to try my best.
Trophy in the GT4's trophies in this. You'll have a full trophy cabinet by the end of the year.
I'll have to get a cabinet first.
Just put it in front of the wedding photos like you did last time. Sure, the missus will be all right with that.
Totally hide. In fact, I'll also take photos of them and then slip them in the photo frames as well.
How do you think that one's going to go for you?
Pardon?
How do you think that will work out for you if you do that?
I reckon I might get away with it for a few days until she does the cleaning again.
Oh, okay, mate. Well, thank you so much for joining me. It's been a pleasure, dear sir. Anyone you want to shout out before we let you go?
I'd shout out all my fans, all my adoring fans. I know there's lots and lots of them. Yeah, hi, darling wife, and yeah, everyone in SRL. It's just a great fun community to be in. Every Friday night, it's good fun. Whether it's in the TCR, this, or when we done the GT4 League before, it's all every night. I've not had a bad Friday night ever since I've been in here.
Awesome stuff there, mate, as well. Well, look forward to having a chat with you on Wednesday, bud, and take care, mate.
You too. See you Wednesday.
Bye.
Bye.
Right, now we bring in your winner from race 2, Mr. Johns, of course. Didn't have a great race 1. I'm sure he'll tell us all about it. Jack, how are you, dear sir?
Oh, I'm good. It wasn't too bad. Obviously, the ending was a bit disappointing. Would have liked to have. It would have been nice to be first, second, first, or whatever way round it is. But second race was great. I mean, both races were good fun. I had side by side. Annoyingly, I took myself out of the fight with Arthur in race 1, realistically, because I got to slow down through the chicane. And then that 3-second gap, I think it was 3.3 at one point, got it down to 2.5, and then it just stayed at that 2.5, 2.7 mark in race 1. Couldn't do anything about it. Race 2 was a little bit more involved, and then back into defense mode, really, for the end. My tyres just dropped off. But it was good fun. And I got him. I know. He, by the sounds of his interview, he put on a brave face, but I know that's in his head, you see. And the fact that I won last season. So he might have said domination, James, but realistically, he knows that it's not going to go that way. He's playing mind games.
Oh, is he?
He's playing mind games.
All right, what are you expecting then? You used to say you're the champion. You know, your target's on your back. Everybody wants a piece of Jack Johns. What's the situation for you? What are your aspirations?
I can't say domination even as a joke, to be honest, because I'm not the fastest on track. I've never been as you can see from qualifying last season, I'm not a qualifier. The racing is always great fun. If I'm honest, my goal for this season is to, because I'm pretty sure I was off the road at least once every round last season. So if I can stop that, then because I feel like Arthur's he is gonna come for me to this season. He took a round out last time. He had 1 or 2 bad races where he dropped down after an accident. This season, I don't think it's going to go that way for him. I think he's going to put in some extra laps. I think he's going to do his best to win everything he can. I'm going to miss 1 round I know of, which I think will be Red Bull Ring on the 14th of July. But they are drop rounds, so it shouldn't be. It just means I have to be more consistent in the other rounds. That's all it means. Okay. In terms of goals, obviously I want to win again. If I can stop him from getting the trophy, I will.
But is it? Do we know? It does just say trophies for winners. So maybe it is just the winners, trophies for the class winners. I'm not sure if they're doing 1, 2, or 3 as well. So you know, you're going to be in it to win it, Jack, as they say. And I'm expecting you to be definitely in it here as well. You got Matt Mould as well, and if Thompson signs up, Sedgley can be quick as well if he's not unfortunately getting involved in incidents and stuff. So it could be a nice little tidy battle here this season. You could have your work cut out.
Oh, there's plenty of people who are quick enough to get involved. It's just that consistency. If there's people that will be up there every race, then the championship will be pretty tight. If it ends up being 4 or 5 rounds in and it's just ends up being me and Arthur fighting for it, then maybe the SRL boys will be rooting for Arthur because they won't have to send the trophy as far across the world. So we'll see what happens.
Oh yes, it's got to go by airmail to get to you, isn't it?
Probably, yeah, or boat.
I don't
take ages.
Yeah, it's going to be a few weeks before you get it, Jack. It might be the start of the following season before you
Oh,
get
no,
it.
I don't know why I'm talking about the trophy, James. If I'm honest, I don't think I'm going to win this season.
Well, mate, you never know. Put the effort in, Jack. You might get it there, bud. But thank you so much. As always, it's been a pleasure chatting to you, Jack. Anyone you want to shout out before we let you
go? Obviously yourself for broadcasting every time. And Dan as well, actually. I don't think I shouted out Dan last time. I forget he's there. He's in the interview room. But both of you for doing a good broadcasting job. SRL for putting it on. And yeah, good Friday nights. It's good fun. Realistically, my only aim is to have fun. Good battles. Wheel to wheel. If I can do laps side by side like we did today, then I've achieved what I wanted to.
I tell you what, that soundbite is going to kill me throughout this season. I can see it. Arthur played it as well. Oh, dearie me. But Jack, take care, mate. And as always, we'll catch up with you as the season goes on.
See you later, Jay.
See you later, mate. Take care. Well, there you go, Dan. Arthur's going in for a trophy. Jack's not sure if he's going to win it this year. It's going to be a tough one as the season rolls on. Is Dan here?
Yes, I was here, and I really quickly realized what happened, James. Instead of moving the person you were talking to the interview, you move yourself to the interview room. So I couldn't hear you, and I was like, yes, this has happened. So I pulled you back into the broadcast booth. Welcome back in.
I didn't realise I'd moved myself, to be fair. I didn't. Oh, never mind. Oh, well. It's all been good fun. Dan, exciting season ahead of us.
For sure. Looking forward to that media day. Maybe even more drivers on track. I mean, 18 drivers out there is already not bad. But, well, you know, more. Well, get your teeth in. The more people there, the more fun we will have. So, yeah, looking forward to that media day in about 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, definitely there as well. And as we say, guys, if you want to get yourselves involved, links down in the description below in the SRL and the JPB YouTube channel. So they're all there for everybody. But I think that's going to just about wrap it up here from myself and Daan Pepels. Don't forget, coming up on the JPB YouTube channel, we have got the VWSC 4.8 hours of Le Mans tomorrow as well. And we've also got round 8 of the Simpletons, the Sim Racing for Simpletons League. We're from Silverstone with Biggles and Zach tomorrow as well. And then we go into Sunday. Well, that's a different story, as we got the Radical Sim Racing World Finals at 5 p.m. with myself and Daan Pepels. P-Cup with myself and Alex Goldsmith. The IGP with myself and Ewan O'Leary. And then the Tanzo GR86 League with Biggles and Callum Milam tomorrow. And then rounded out at 1:45 in the morning, we've got the Triple Bypass final season of their cup with myself and Michael David. So I'm going to be a little bit of a busy boy tomorrow, don't get me wrong. Thank you too so much for everybody that's joined us in chat here as well. James Launchberry, VJ for popping in, Toxic, Jamie Dengle, of course, Callum Milam. Well, that could have gone better. I don't think words could put into perspective on how bad that went. Yeah, not a great evening for you, Callum. Tricky circuit, tricky car. Practice, practice, practice. And of course, we'll give a shout out, as always, as we always do, to Phil across the pond. But from myself and Daan Pepels up here in the booth, take care. Have a great week. And you never know, we might see you on the track sometime. Good night.